Hello, in this video I'm going to show you how to create a table in the Oracle. I'm going to use the Oracle 10G and I am going to use the Toad. You can also use the Oracle SQL Plus if you want, but in my case I'm going to use a Toad in this case, and I'm going to show you step by step how to create a table in the Oracle and many attributes of the table. So right now the first thing I want to show you is how to create a table. So I'm just going to say create table destination, and these are the variable type, and this is the first is a number, the other is a varchar, and the other is also a varchar 25, and this is the column name for the tables in this side, the destination, city and country. Okay, so what I am creating is a table destination with the destination ID, and the type is number, city is a column again, which is varchar 25, again the country is a column with a varchar. Let's execute this thing and I will be able to create a table, and you can see the table has been created. So how do I see the table that has been created? So I can actually just go and say describe destination and put a semicolon at the end, and as you can see that the table has been created. If you use the SQL plus, you can also say describe destination, sorry, describe destination, and you can see that the table has been actually described to you, which means that the table for the first thing shows the column, and the other says it is whether the field the column is null or not null, and the other thing last thing is show the type, that is the column type. Now let's go and insert some few rows in the destination table. So I'm going to insert few of the rows by saying insert into destination and values 1, and the second is the New York, that is for the city, and the third is the USA. Because I am specifying it all the fields, so it will take it in the order that is specified, and it will be adding it that particular column. However, if you wanted to specify only few fields rather than everything, then you have to specify the column name before the values. As you can see, I have not specified the column name because I am specifying all the values, so it's going to go by the default into the place where it belongs to. So in this case I am going to select all these rows, and I am going to insert and then say commit. This is how we insert the rows into the table, and I'm going to execute the script. As you can see, the row has been inserted and it has been committed and it has been completed. Now let's go and see the rows what has been. As you can see, there are a lot of rows there, all the 10 rows have been inserted and there's nothing else to be there after that. Now if I want, this is how I select the rows, and the same thing I can do it from here also. Select start from the destination if you are using, or something else if you are using. Select start from destination, and you can see the same 10 rows are available here also. Now I will not go again to the SQL plus. If you want to edit your SQL, you can type the edit and modify the SQL, and again after saying it, save it, and then after saving it you can exit, and again you can press the backward slash and it will work. Now that being said, let's move back. Now suppose if I wanted to drop a table, I could just select a drop a table. Remember, if the table is reference to the foreign constraint, it cannot be dropped. I'll come to it. But in this case, there is no, the table is not referencing anything to any of the, sorry, if the table is referenced by the other table, it cannot be dropped. Okay, and right now I'm going to just drop this table because this table is not being referenced by any other table, and I'm going to say that a drop table, and the drop table has been dropped. If you want to verify it again, you can select the describe destination and see it. It should give you an error because the table doesn't exist. So Oracle's toad gives you an error, object destination not found. So far so good. Or you can select the star, again it should give you an error, table or view does not exist. Okay, now this time I am going to create the same table again, but this time I have added one constraint to it. The constraint is the unique constraint. As you can see, I have added the constraint, unique constraint is city and country, both the field. What it means that I cannot enter the same row like Paris and France twice in the table. That is what it unique means. However, the unique allows you to enter a null, which a primary key would not allow you to do that thing. That's the big difference between the unique and the primary key constraint. Now this is a unique constant, so I am going to add this thing, and again we are going to add the table, and let's see, now we have added a table. Now again I will insert few rows into this. The rows are exactly the same as it is previously. There is no difference, and I am going to commit, and I am going to run it, and it has been committed, as you can see. However, if you see, the last row here is London, UK. Now, because I have created a unique constraint, I am going to use the value 11 London, UK again, but however they should fail because this violates the unique constraint. As you can see, unique constraint violated. So the row cannot be inserted. Let's drop the table again once more, and we will try some few other techniques. Now let's create the tables once more with the primary key. Rather than the unique, I am going to use the primary key this time. Okay, and a table has been created. Again, I am going to insert the same rows as previously, and I'm going to commit it till here, and you will be seeing that the rows has been inserted. However, again, because I am going to using a primary key, the primary key should also not allow me to add the row because it is based on the same value, because it will create a duplicate London or in UK, and I'm going to execute exactly the same statement as I did in the unique constant. This time I'm using a primary constant. So this again fails. However, it says unique constant violated, which is actually the toad error, but it should be a primary key constant violated. It should be. Okay, and let's drop the destination table again once more. I again drop the destination table. Now, primary key constraint with the using the different table space of the index instead of using the default table space. What I am going to do is that I am going to create index constant for the primary key, but however the index that is created would not be created on the default table space, but would be created on the table space that is user. Okay, if you want to see the lot of table space, you can just go and see. Let's select the table space, and I will show it to you. The lots there. What are the different types of table space? Let's go and see the tree view, and let's move and see the table space. Here it is, and you can see there are a lot of table space, isn't it? So these are a lot of table space are there, and now this time I am not going to use the table space that is by the default. I'm going to use the table space that is user. So I just select the in this thing I write the SQL little changes. The constant is still the constant destination ID primary key city country everything is same. I add a few words saying using index table space user. So now the index would use the table space user when the primary key is created. Let's go and create it, and it has created it. Let's drop the destination table once more. Now instead of creating the table, now I'm going to add a foreign constant. To add a foreign constant, I should have a table to which it refers. In this example, I am going to just create a reference table so that we can add a foreign constant. The foreign constant what we are going to add is the primary key in the reference table. So let's say I create a table country name, country varchar constant, country name pk primary key country, and after creating and execute the code, it says the table exists. So let's drop the table country name. Okay, now let's create it, and let's see. Let's describe and see. This is how you see the table. You have say describe des. This is the full form is describe, but we can use in Oracle. We can use the first four characters, and it works. As you can see, there is a reference table that is there, which is the country, which is a ID. This is the primary key for this table. And now that I have a reference table, I can add. Now the first constant is already there. I have added one more constant. Now this is foreign key. As you can see, constant country fk, foreign key, country, references, country name, country. So this is the foreign key in from our table, and it references the reference table that is country name, and that is the key, that is the column it reference. In this case it is similar, but because of similar names I have given it to it, it could have been a different name in the each table. Let's go and execute the SQL, and you will see that the table has been created. Let me describe, use the describe, and you can see that there is a table that has been created, and it has a primary key showing you and everything else. And let's go and close this thing down, and let me insert a row because it reference because the reference table is completely empty. I'm just going to try to insert a row into the destination. As you can see, the row cannot be inserted into the destination table because the reference row doesn't contain the row for the country New York in it, because that table is completely empty until and unless that country does, because that destination table refers to the country name you cannot insert the row until and unless it exists in the country name. The country should exist in the country name. Only then you would be able to insert it into the destination table. Now let's go and enter into the country name the values. I'm just trying to enter one country, that is USA. Now that we have a country already into the Des- the country name, that is the reference table. If you can see, select from the country name. As you can see, we have one row. Okay, um, we have one row that is there, that says USA. So now if I try to insert into the destination, it should work, and that is how it has been added. If you want to check it out, you can say select star from destination, and you can execute it, and you can see that the row has been added. Let's drop the destination table once more, execute it, and now I am going to add a check constraint. The check constraint is that it allows you to put a check on the column. In this case, I have put a check constraint on the destination ID, and I have specified check ID greater than 1, which means that nobody can insert ID which is less than 1. That is how you can use a check constraint. The table has been created. However, if you have a problem later, like you wanted to add a column, so you can alter the table by using alter table to add a column. In this case, I am going to add a column known as time zone with the type date. As you can see, it's already there. I'm just going to execute a SQL, and you can see that the column has been added. If you want, we can just go through and see it that the column has been added. Now suppose if I, though I have added the column, I wanted to add it as not null, so I can modify it and specify modify time zone not null. Perfectly okay, it has been modified, but the reason is it was able to modify it because the table was completely empty. If the time zone had contained some data and some blank data or null data, it would not be able to modify the time zone because I have tried to modify it with not null. So there are rules. If you want to modify a column to in a table which already has rows to a not null, then you have to follow some specified rules. Firstly, you add a column to the table specifying with a null, so that the table has a column with a null, and then you can fill up all the columns in all the sorry you can fill up the columns you have specified as null in all the rows, and then you can modify it with not null, and that is how you would be able to have a column later with not null. Now let's actually look at dropping the column. When it comes to dropping the column, it is very simple. Just alter table destination, drop column time zone, and that's it. and we have done. And as you can see, I can again drop the destination table by typing drop table destination and executing it, and that's it. That is all for the basic of creating a table, modifying the table, and dropping the table. Thank you very much for listening. Have a nice day. Bye bye.